we're going to talk about the print command. Now, the print command can be used to print freeform typing, as is the case right here with Hello World. It can also be used to print system variables as well as user input variables. So let's go ahead and start with this particular iteration of the print command. When we click on the cast button, which you see here below, the words Hello World should appear here in the emulated computer screen window on the right hand side. And as you can see, that's what's happened. Now we're going to use the print command to print a system variable. In this case, it's going to be stock price. Now, to utilize a system variable like stock price, what needs to happen is that inside these inner brackets, we need to plug in a ticker symbol. Now, it's beyond the scope of this tutorial to go over what a ticker symbol is, but if you're somebody who follows the stock market or who's interested in learning more about the stock market and stock prices, ticker symbols are something that you're going to become very familiar with. So what we will do now is click once again on the cast button down here, and in the emulated computer screen window here on the right hand side, we shall see a printout of the stock price for CBI, which happens to be Chicago Bridge and Iron. And as you can see, it closed at $15.72. Now we're going to demonstrate how we can print user input variables. We're going to start by putting Hello World into word box 1, which happens to be a user input variable. Next, we're going to put 21, which is a numerical value, into number box 1, which of course again is a user input variable. Finally, we're going to put a system variable, in this case D and T, which stands for date and time, into list box 1, as you can see right here. Next, we're going to print word box 1, we're going to then print number box 1, and then finally we're going to print list box 1. A couple of quick observations with respect to what you're seeing here. As you'll notice, there is no case sensitivity when we use user input variables. So in this case, we see word box with a capitalized W, then lowercase letters followed by a capitalized B, and then some lowercase letters. In this case, we have some lowercase words here for number box, followed by all caps for the word box. And as you can see, the same general pattern is followed with regard to list box 1. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that a complete description of all of the user input variables can be found at the Alexia BASIC website under the instructions link. Now, when we use the print command, as you can see, there's no case sensitivity whatsoever when we type in word box 1, number box 1, and finally list box 1. So let's go ahead and click on the cast button, and what will happen next is that in the emulated computer screen window, we shall see the words Hello World, exclamation point printed, the numerical value 21 printed, and as you can see, the date and time, which happens to be printed out in a format of month, day, year. So in this case, it would be 10/11/2017, which represents October 11th, 2017. And as you can see, the time is printed in 24-hour format, which in this case is 1900 hours, 54 minutes, and 28 seconds. Now here's another example of how the print command can be used. First, we're going to start by utilizing the input box command to ask what one's name is. In this case, it'll be, input box, what is your name? And we're going to put that into word box 1. Then what's going to happen is Alexia BASIC will print hello and then whatever name we typed in, followed by my name is Alexia BASIC. Let's see how this works in practice. Let's go ahead and click on the cast button, and in a moment we should see a prompting that will ask us for our name. Okay, here's the prompt. And it's asking, what is your name? So we're going to type in Stephen. We're going to go ahead and click on OK. And then we're going to see in the emulated computer screen window, it says, hello, Stephen. My name is Alexia BASIC. Okay, so in this final example, we're going to use the print command to actually print out several stock prices and to do so in a somewhat formatted manner. So we're going to begin by putting the stock price for Amazon into number box 1. Next, we're going to put the stock price for Apple into number box 2. Then we're going to put the stock price for Google into number box 3. And then finally, we'll put the stock price for Microsoft into number box 4. You'll see that we're using the CLS command here to clear the computer screen that appears on the right-hand side of the video that you're seeing, right? So we're going to clear that to get all of this data out of the way. Then what we're going to print is a straight little line like this. Then we're going to print using a system variable date, and it'll be today's date, and then it'll say closing stock prices. There will be another line. Then it will say Amazon ... and then you see here that we're going to print number box 1. Now the reason why there's a second, or first I should say, a dollar sign here is so that we see a dollar sign appear in front of the stock price. When we look over here at the emulated computer screen and we refer back to the stock price that we gathered a moment ago for Chicago Bridge and Iron, you'll see that what was printed out was a stock price that was devoid of a dollar sign. It was literally just the stock price itself, right? The dollar amount, and then of course the cents. So what we'd like to do for this example is have a dollar sign appear before that stock price, and so that's why there's a leading dollar sign symbol here. So we're going to print the Amazon stock price, which is contained in number box 1. Then we're going to print the Apple stock price, which will be contained in number box 2. Then we're going to print the Google stock price, which is contained in number box 3. And finally, we'll print the Microsoft stock price, which will be contained in number box 4. So we're going to go ahead and click on the cast button. And in a moment or two, we should see the emulated computer screen window clear. Of course, it'll take a moment for these stock prices to be gathered and to be placed into those variables, but of course, it is done, although we did also get an error message, error near line number 13. We'll return to this error message in just a moment. Let's first focus on the actual output presented by Alexia BASIC. So as we can see, we have the date, which is October 11th, 2017. We have the words closing stock prices, and then we have Amazon's closing stock price, which was $995 even, Apple, which closed at $156.55, Google, which closed at $989.25, and finally Microsoft, which closed at $76.42. Now, let's go back into the spell window here on the left-hand side, and let's just scroll down a little bit. And as we take a look, we say to ourselves, this error near line 13. Well, if we count beginning with line number 1, and we say then line number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it would appear as if though there's an error being generated on this final line here. Now, when we look at it, just based on the naked eye, it doesn't really look like there's any sort of problem whatsoever. However, there is a blank space beneath here. Let's go ahead and remove that. Let's go ahead and pull this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and run this again, and let's see what happens. So we clicked on the cast button. We should see this clear in just a moment. And okay, now it's giving us the data again, and it did not throw any sort of error message. As you can see, everything is showing up as being okay. Now that's an example of the very rudimentary yet sometimes useful syntax error checking functionality built into the Alexia BASIC programming language. It can be a little bit clunky, and it might even seem a little bit confusing at this initial stage. However, it can be very useful in helping to discern when there may be an error. For example, let's accidentally delete the closing bracket that follows the Microsoft stock price here. Look at what happens when we click on the cast button. As you'll see in just a moment, we should get at least what appears to be an error message pointing us towards where the potential problem may exist. And as you can see, it says error, missing brackets near line number 4. Now, it's not terribly specific, and it could be any number of different brackets that are missing, but at the very least, when we start here on line number 1 and we say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so line number 4, it seems like there's a problem. When we look at it and we say, oh, look, it's missing a bracket. Let's go ahead and fix that. We just went ahead and typed in that final closing bracket. Now we go ahead and click on the cast button once again, and let's see if it gives us an error message or if in fact it will render these results and print out these results on the emulated computer screen window. And here we go, the results are being printed without a problem, and we have an OK status message which tells us everything processed as expected. So that gives you a fairly limited, however somewhat in detail view of the print command, understanding of course that there are so many different permutations, so many different ways to use this command, but at least this gets you started in the right direction and demonstrates some of the functionality built into the print command within Alexia BASIC. Thanks for watching. Now please subscribe to our channel.